Major approaches to the study of personality, post-Freudian approaches. The basic concept of psychoanalysis are due to Sigmund Freud. Post-Freudian psychoanalysis has evolved in distinct ways in different countries, often in response to influential analysts who settled there. Before going to the details, please remember to subscribe this channel if you are new here. Do watch other videos in this channel, share it with students and those who love learning psychology. Thank you. Major approaches to the study of personality. In the previous videos, we have learned type approaches, triad approaches, and psychodynamic approach. We have covered topics such as psychoanalytic and psychodynamic theories, the level of consciousness, structure of personality, ego defense mechanism, stages of personality development, and post-Freudian approaches by Carl Jung and Alfred Adler. In this video, we will learn theories of Erik Erikson, Karen Horney, and Erich Fromm. Post-Freudian approaches, Erik Erikson, Karen Horney, and Erich Fromm. Erik Erikson was an ego psychologist who developed one of the most popular and influential theories of development. Karen Horney was one of the first women who trained as a Freudian psychoanalyst. Erich Fromm was known for developing the concept that freedom was a fundamental part of human. Let's understand all these in detail. Erik Erikson. He was a German-American psychologist and psychoanalyst who is known for his theory of psychosocial development. Erikson's theory of psychosocial development expanded on Sigmund Freud's psychosexual stages and emphasized the influence of social and cultural factors on an individual's development. According to Erikson, human development occurs in a series of stages throughout the lifespan, each characterized by a specific psychosocial crisis that must be resolved for healthy development to occur. The first is trust versus mistrust. That is the infancy stage. So, the first stage starts from infancy. This stage occurs from birth to around 18 months. The main challenge is developing a sense of trust in the world and in caregivers. For example, a baby develops trust with their caregivers, consistently respond to their needs, providing comfort, feeding, and affection. If the caregivers are neglectful or inconsistent, the baby may develop mistrust and anxiety. Next stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt. This is the early childhood stage. This stage occurs from around 18 months to 3 years. Children strive for independence and develop self-control or may experience shame and doubt. For example, a toddler who is encouraged to explore their environment, make choices and develop basic skills such as feeding themselves or using the toilet, develop a sense of autonomy. However, if parents are overly controlling or critical, the child may feel shame and doubt their abilities. Next stage is initiative versus guilt. That is the preschool year stage. This stage occurs from 3 to 6 years. Children explore their environment and develop a sense of purpose and initiative. If they feel guilty or overly controlled, it can hinder their development. For example, a preschool-aged child who is allowed to take on new tasks, express creativity, and make decisions within appropriate boundaries develops a sense of initiative. However, if the efforts are met with excessive criticism or punishment, Then they may develop guilt and feel a sense of inadequacy. Next stage is industry versus inferiority. This is the elementary school years. This stage occurs from 6 to 12 years. Children acquire skills and knowledge, and their self-esteem is influenced by their ability to meet academic and social expectations. Let's see an example. A child who receives recognition and encouragement for their achievements, both academically and socially, they develop a sense of industry and competence. However, if they experience constant failure or unrealistic expectations, they may develop feelings of inferiority. Next stage is identity versus role confusion. It is the adolescent stage. This stage occurs during adolescence, typically from 12 to 18 years. Individuals explore their identities and try to establish a sense of self. They may experience confusion or identity crisis if they struggle to form a coherent identity. For example, during adolescence, individuals explore different roles and identities to establish a sense of who they are. This may involve questioning their values, beliefs, and career aspirations. Successfully navigating this stage, it leads to a stronger sense of identity, while the unresolved conflicts, it can result in role confusion and lack of direction. Next stage is intimacy versus isolation, that is a young adulthood. This stage occurs during early adulthood from approximately 18 to 40 years. Individuals seek close relationships and intimacy. Failure to establish intimate relationship can lead to feelings of isolation. For example, young adults seek to form close and meaningful relationships. Developing intimate relationship with friends, partners, or family members, it contributes to a sense of connection and intimacy. Failure to establish these connections can lead to feelings of isolation and loneliness. Next stage is generativity versus stagnation, the middle adulthood. This stage occurs from approximately 40 to 65 years. Individuals focus on contributing to society and future generations through work, family, and community involvement. Failure to find meaning and purpose can result in stagnation. For example, middle-aged adults focus on contributing to society and the well-being of future generation through their work, parenting, or mentorship. Engaging in meaningful activities and nurturing relationship promotes a sense of generativity, whereas feeling stagnant and unproductive can lead to a sense of dissatisfaction. And the next stage is integrity versus despair, the late adulthood or the maturity stage. This stage occurs during late adulthood, typically from 65 years and onward. Individuals reflect on their lives and evaluate their accomplishments. A sense of integrity and acceptance leads to wisdom, while despair arises from regret and unfulfilled goals. For example, in late adulthood, individuals reflect on their lives and assess their accomplishments. Those who feel a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction, they develop integrity and wisdom. And the individuals who experience regret or perceive their lives as unfulfilled, they may struggle with despair and a sense of hopelessness. Erickson's theory highlights the importance of successfully resolving each stage, the psychosocial crisis, to develop a healthy sense of self and adapt to future challenges. Karen Horney was a German psychoanalyst and one of the most prominent figures in psychoanalytic theory. Karen challenged several aspects of Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theories and developed her own unique perspective. She focused on the social and cultural factors that influence personality development, particularly the impact of interpersonal relationships. She identified three primary coping strategies that individuals adopt to deal with these conflicts. First one, moving toward people. This strategy involves seeking approval, affection, and love from others. People who adopt this strategy tend to be compliant, submissive, and overly dependent on others. For example, an individual who constantly seek validation and approval from others. Then people pleasing, that is going out of their way to accommodate others and avoid the conflict. Then a person heavily relies on others for decision making and seeks constant guidance. Etc. are examples of people who are moving towards to other people. Next is moving against people. This strategy involves striving for power, control, and superiority over others. Individuals who adopt this strategy often display aggressive and dominating behaviors. For example, an individual frequently expresses anger, hostility, or aggression towards others, or someone habitually criticizes and belittles others, or somebody pointing out other people's flaws and weakness. A person constantly engages in competition and rivalry. These are examples for moving against people. Third one is moving away from people. This strategy involves withdrawing from relationship and seeking independence and self-sufficiency. People who adopt this strategy may exhibit detachment and a preference for isolation. For example, avoiding social interactions and maintaining a distance from others. Then avoiding deep emotional connections with others and preferring a more detached and rational approach to relationships. Then a person strives to be completely independent and self-reliant. So these are the three primary coping strategies. The theory of neurotic needs. Karen Honey developed a theory of neurosis that is still prominent today. Unlike previous theorists, Karen viewed these neuroses as a sort of coping mechanism that is large part of normal life. She identified 10 neuroses, including the need for power, the need for affection, the need for social prestige, and the need for independence. Karen defined neurosis as the psychic disturbance brought by fears and defenses against these fears, and by attempts to find compromise solutions for conflicting tendencies. She also believed that in order to understand these neuroses, it was essential to look at the culture in which a person lived, where the Sigmund Freud had suggested that many neuroses had a biological base. Karen Horney believed that cultural attitudes played a role in determining these neurotic feelings. For example, consider a girl grew up in an environment where she felt neglected and unloved. As a result, she developed a strong need for affection and approval. In her relationship, she is overly dependent on her partner's attention and constantly seeks reassurance of their love. She becomes anxious and distressed if she perceives any signs of rejection or disapproval. Next, Karen Horney was a strong advocate of feminist perspectives in psychology. While Karen followed much of Sigmund Freud's theory, she disagreed with his views on female psychology. She rejected his concept of penis envy, declaring it to be both inaccurate and demeaning to women. Karen instead proposed the concept of womb envy, in which men experience feeling of inferiority because they cannot give birth to children. Despite the many obstacles that she faced as a woman in a field dominated by men, Karen Honey became a prominent thinker who made important contributions to our understanding of human psychology. Next is Erich Fromm. He was a German-American psychoanalyst and social philosopher. He was influenced by various disciplines including psychoanalysis, Marxism, existentialism, and humanistic psychology. Fromm focused on the intersection of human nature, society, and individual well-being. Key concepts and ideas associated with Erich Fromm's work include humanistic psychoanalysis. Erich Fromm developed a humanistic approach to psychoanalysis, emphasizing the individual's search for meaning and self-realization. He believed that psychological health involves finding a balance between personal freedom and social connection. For example, psychoanalysts focus on the client's subjective experiences, emotions, and self-awareness to facilitate their journey towards psychological well-being. Next is escape from freedom. Erich Fromm explored the concept of freedom and its psychological implications. Erich Fromm argued that while freedom is a fundamental human desire, it also generates anxiety. Some individuals may seek to escape from freedom by conforming to societal norms or submitting to authoritarian ideologies. For example, a person might join a cult or embrace an authoritarian ideology to alleviate the anxiety and responsibility associated with making their own decisions. Next is love and relationship. Erich Fromm examined the role of love in human life. He distinguished between two forms of love, the motherly love and the mature love. Motherly love characterized by a sense of care and protection, and the mature love which involves a deep connection between equals. Erich Fromm emphasized the importance of love as a transformative force in personal and social development. For example, a couple in a healthy and mature love relationship support each other's growth, respect each other's autonomy, and fosters an emotional connection built on trust, intimacy, and shared values. Next is alienation. Erich Fromm critiqued modern society's tendency to foster alienation and detachment. He argued that individuals can become alienated from their own potential, others, and the world around them, leading to the feelings of emptiness and discontent. For example, in a highly competitive work environment, an employee may feel alienated and disconnected from their work and colleagues. Next is the art of being. Erich Fromm wrote about the pursuit of a fulfilling and meaningful life. He discussed the importance of self-awareness, personal growth, and the development of one's unique potential. Erich Fromm believed that becoming fully oneself is an ongoing process that requires conscious effort. For example, an individual practices the art of being by engaging in self-reflection, seeking personal growth, and pursuing activities that align with their passions and values. Erich Fromm's work had a significant impact on psychology, sociology, and philosophy. His ideas continue to influence the understanding of human nature, social dynamics, and personal well-being. Let's have a quick recap. In this video, we have learned the post-Freudian approaches by Erik Erikson, Karen Horney, and Eric Fromm. There are several major approaches to the study of personality, each offering unique perspectives and theories. Hope you liked this video on post-Freudian approaches. We'll see the behavioral approach in the coming video. Please share and subscribe. Thank you and keep smiling.